What's up, everybody? I'm David Hain. Welcome to episode 221 of the A to D From Addict to Disciple podcast. If you enjoy this podcast, please like, subscribe, follow, and share the link with your friends. If you'd like to get our curriculum, you can get the paperback or ebook of From Ashes to Destiny on Amazon. When we come back, we'll get into this episode entitled Millstone Park. Welcome back to episode 221 of the A to D From Addict to Disciple podcast entitled Millstone Park. Today's episode is in response to a listener who sent the following message. He said, David, I feel like I'm plodding along in recovery with a millstone around my neck. And it's the hurtful words that I've been called in my addiction, and your episode on words hurt stirred all that up again. And the words I've heard in my addiction are, you're a deadbeat dad, you're a no-good junkie, you're not the son I raised. And that is a huge millstone around my neck. And on top of that, when I try to do good things, I keep running into the stigma of addiction that keeps me from getting a good job, keeps people from wanting to be my friends, keeps people from wanting to trust me. So it's almost like I got a double millstone around my neck. You want to talk about that on an episode? Okay. So when I say I get responses and messages, there's a good one. And yes, I do want to talk about it on an episode. And so we're going to be going on a walkabout in Millstone Park. And to set it up, let's look at what a millstone is and how the dictionaries define it and stuff like that. So a millstone, if you're not familiar with it, is a large stone used in a mill to grind wheat and other grains. And depending on its size, a millstone could weigh anywhere between 100 and 1,000 pounds. And so we're talking, a huge grinding stone that would grind up the grains. In the New Testament, Matthew 18:6 says, if anyone causes one of these little ones who believe in me to stumble, it would be better for them to have a large millstone hung around their neck and to be drowned in the depths of the sea. Well, you see how a couple thousand years ago they viewed how large a millstone was. Not just difficult to swim, you would drown in the depths of the sea if someone hung that around your neck. So you're starting to see how this idea of having a millstone can make it difficult or impossible to swim through life or in a relationship or in recovery or, just about anything. So let's go into some online dictionaries like Cambridge and Collins to define a millstone. And they say a millstone around your neck is a responsibility that is too difficult to bear, and it causes you trouble, like the mortgage or a bond on a house, some duty, obligation, and responsibility. And if you describe something as a millstone around your neck, they say you mean that it's a very unpleasant problem that you can't escape from. And obviously from the earlier one of, drowning in the sea from the millstone, there's no escape from that. So they go on to say the phrase a millstone around someone's neck means to put some burden or responsibility on a person's life or punishment on someone that makes escape impossible. So I think we're getting a lot of aspects of a millstone here. So it can be punishment that people are making us live through because of what we did in our addiction. It can be a burden or the responsibility of the new person we need to be in recovery that we're finding it difficult to live up to. It can be something that we feel, has been placed on us by others, that it's forced on us, or it can be someone that, we care about a lot that doesn't even know they're doing it. But we're trying to live up to their even unspoken expectations and putting a millstone on ourselves. Okay, you got it? So let's go on the walkabout. Here we are at Millstone Park, and the first sign is a quote by Oscar Wilde. It says, "The burden of this world is too great for one man to bear, and the world's sorrow too heavy for one heart to suffer." And this park has journals. Let's see what a couple guys wrote in it. First one says, "Wow, that's the way I view recovery. My millstone is like the burden of the whole world is on my shoulders. Talk about too much to bear." And the second guy says, "For me, it's not the sorrow of the world, but my sorrow with how much I messed up my world when I got into full-blown addiction." Yeah, that's a good one there too, because we hold on to the sorrow of all the things we messed up and sort of create our own millstone. Okay, let's go down the path a little bit. We get to the next sign, and it's a quote by Bo Taplin. And it says, "I swear there is no greater burden than to wait without hope." Let's look in the journal. First guy says, "Spot on. Every day in recovery, I seem to get more and more hopeless. I know I'm supposed to be growing in hope in recovery, but honestly, my millstone is the burden of hopelessness in ever getting a good job, a good place, a new family, or just a good life." And I think that first writer just caught the total idea there, because all that's after it is ditto, ditto, ditto. And one guy says, "Yep, ditto. That seems like a puff of smoke vanishing in the air every day." Okay, let's go down to the next sign along the path. And it's a quote by Lachlan Brown, the author of Buddhism Suffering. And it says, "Remembering a wrong is like carrying a burden on the mind." And looking in the journal, the first guy says, "Whoever made this park walkabout really knows the millstone of recovery. I can't figure out how to forget the past or to leave it behind. I've tried writing it down and burning it, but that didn't work. I've tried writing it on a stone and throwing it in a river. That didn't work. You see, I've done so many wrongs in my addiction. I think the only way I could forget is to have a lobotomy, to have like a hunk of my brain removed." Okay, that guy's pretty open with his emotions there. Let's see what the next guy said. "I don't just remember my wrongs. I see them playing in my mind like movies all day. And most nights they return as dreams or nightmares." Sure. Okay, that's a deep one there. So whether we're trying to figure out how to forget or leave stuff behind, or whether we just keep seeing the movies, we've got some work to do, I guess. Let's see if there's any hope in this park for us. We go down to the next sign, and it's a double-sided sign, so we'll take one side at a time. The first one is a quote by Angeli Delgado, and it says, "It is far beyond time for you to leave your past behind you. Clinging to the past is a slow poison, killing you, killing your present, your future possibilities, holding you in a prison of existence, smothering your life." Let's open up the journal. First guy says, "Sure. Okay, we've been looking for some hope, and they just gave it to us here by a challenge." Because this first quote nails it for me. I cling to the past. I think the pain of the past has become my new comfort zone. It has become my reason to keep using, to dip and dab and not feel guilty about it. I don't even have to rationalize anything. I just don't feel guilty because I'm clinging to the past, so got to medicate it every now and then. Okay, the next guy in the journal said, "This is a wake-up call for me. Knowing and realizing that clinging to the past is poison, prison, and it's killing my present and my future and smothering me and all that. It gives me motivation to get help. So right now I'm deciding, having read this sign, to reach out. I know the people that I've been avoiding and ducking and dodging, and I'm just going to reach out and say, help." Okay, let's go to the second side of this sign. And it's a quote by Lisa Toller. It says, "Give yourself permission to release your burdens of the past. Remember, the past no longer exists. It's only there to teach us. Learn from the past, but don't carry it around. Climb forward." Okay, let's see what the guys wrote. The first guy says, "Yeah, I'm still struggling going through this park, guys, because I know the past is there to teach us, but it's taught me how wrong I've been, and I'm still struggling to let go of that. Just being real, for real." The next guy says, "Hey, I think I've got it now. There's my game plan. Today, I choose to give myself permission to release my burdens from the past. I can't carry them anymore. I'm taking the millstone off my neck and letting it sink to the bottom of the sea without me." Wow. There's a great motivational change from going through this park. Okay, let's walk to the end. They always have a sign or so two waiting for us for closing thoughts, and I'm not wrong. The first quote is from an unknown author. It says, "When your past calls, don't answer. It has nothing new to say." Okay, I think that sums it up. Those of us haunted with our past like a millstone need to stop answering that phone. And the last quote says, "A burden shared is a burden halved." And it's by T.A. Webb. And I see that as a motivation to each of us to halve our burden by finding a good friend, a sponsor, a coach that we can share that burden with and cut it in half as a way to start our way to cut that millstone in half and let it sink. Thanks for going on this walkabout with us in Millstone Park today. And if you're ready to have your burden, if you're ready to figure out how to take that step of putting stuff into action and releasing your burdens from your past, knowing that you can't carry them anymore, I want to encourage you to reach out. You know your sponsors, you know your friends you can talk to. If you don't have anyone, feel free to contact me. You can message me on the link in this podcast or by email at davidfromat2d@gmail.com, or go to my website, www.fromat2d.org, and click on the contact page. Tune in Monday for our next episode. As always, stay safe and stay resilient.